Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gents. And here we have another game of Zero AD. And in this game, Vinme plays as the Persians, and I will be opposing him as the Spartans. So, and I see his horse is idle at the start, so I should fix that soon. Except for, well, the game already starts for 28 seconds, 30 seconds and still idle. And only now starts working. So I actually doubt if this time is correct. Or that it was just idle for a long time. However, if you look at the idle time, I see that I've already created 6 women, so then the timing seems pretty accurate. So both players have extra berries. This is mainland balanced. And yeah, it's Persian Spartans. Vinme already has 3 cavalry. Big disadvantage people consider Persians to be having is that they start with archers. And Vinme uses his archer to bring this deer closer to his CC. Or maybe eventually just closer to his farmhouse. You will see. And he also starts building his farmhouse relatively late. And this archer has just been scouted. So if you just look at the cavalry numbers here on the bottom, you see that Vinme is ahead with 5-3. And one way to circumvent the archer weakness that the Persians seemingly have is to make javelin cavalry. And Vinme goes forward. And I'm also building a stable. So I will also have some cavalry units. I do have some sheep fairly close to my CC. And I also have berry upgrades, which surprises me a little if you get so much food of sheep. Vinme does not have berry upgrade. He also has less women on berries. His population is at 36. While I'm lagging behind at 30. Maybe that's just because I invested in a little more cavalry and I've already built a stable. But these cavalry will bring in all the food of the sheep right here, so I think that's fine. The only problem is that I'm currently having no other food than the last food cavalry brings to the farmstead. That food is gone currently, so I probably need to switch quickly to the berries. And there is a whole lot of nothing being achieved right here. Maybe I will just wait until this cavalry left the stable. I do have a lot of food in the bank, so even though I don't have any food income currently, that's acceptable. I bring this food towards my farmstead. So, well, I guess that's not all in all the most efficient use of everything on my side. Vinme. He currently also has the berry upgrade, and he will take advantage of these. I believe these are grapes. I will be doing the same. And I'm still a little behind the population. So the stable that I built didn't allow me to produce more units. And here I get some kills on some women. And that evens out the population difference a little. Another difference is that Vinme has a 50 population, 8 in Q, and I have a lower Q. So that means that while Vinme doesn't have all its population on the field, I do have a larger part of my population on the field. But on the other side, I will need to keep producing. And Vinme has a barracks, so I have a stable. And when we look to the kill-death ratio, there's only a difference of 1, so that isn't too much. And I'm gathering some sheep. Okay. The question is why I'm not attacking right now. Maybe I'll wait for 1 more cavalry unit before I go again. And in the meantime, there are some these women are still gathering graves, so that's very efficient food income for me. And my cavalry are right now moving towards it. And I've already seen that Vinme is using these graves, so we can expect an attack like here. Vinme has taken a major population lead. That is because I decided to build 10 more cavalry units. I don't decide to win it too deeply. And I'm in this situation just happy to camp this area and deny the food to come within me. And probably this is when I get I decide not to run away. Many of my units are low, and population difference has reduced, whereas I do have currently a larger waiting force. That needs to heal. So I think we can say that Vinme is ahead in this situation just by booming. And cavalry is more expensive and trained slower than infantry. And that's one of the reasons why Vinme is ahead. When it comes to the KD, we see the advantage lies with me. And Vinme is building a third storehouse. Building extra storehouses can be good to shorten the path your units need to make from collecting the trees and dropping off the wood in the storehouse. If there are only so little trees remaining, I would say building the extra storehouse seems questionable. I'm currently heavily using cavalry. I played some previous games to this against Vinme, and I noticed that Vinme tends to make cavalry, and if you don't start game with making your own cavalry, you could find yourself be on the losing end. So I wanted to make a little bit more cavalry, or as much cavalry as Vinme, or at least as much. That's the reason why I chose this strategy. I think that if you have Spartans, you have a better faction because you have stronger spearmen and you can get a standard ranged infantry, the skirmisher, and the Spartans have a hero which outclasses the heroes of the Persians. And I've captured this outpost, and well, that's nice for me because it shows me how much I can attack my opponents and where I can attack them. And with Vinme, it's good at sending women in the CC and then sending them out on the other side very quickly. And you never see him big out on that. So I'm just running around with my cavalry units. And I'm probably checking on everything else because from a spectator point of view, these 4 units should be dead. And I'm probably happy to put most of my cavalry in the CC. And I see a woman here, and I send my cavalry force over there. Now I send some of them into CC, and the ones that do not require healing do I send towards the barracks, such that they can gain experience. This happens sometimes when I try to send units in the CC, and they actually keep standing next to the CC. And these units probably will go in the barracks very soon. But these women are currently tasked to build these farms. And these units, yeah, they are supposed to enter the barracks to gain some experience. But sometimes they just keep standing on the outside. And maybe that means that I am not using my hotkeys optimally. So we see that I've used to build another stable. I've done good damage to Vinme. So yeah, it wouldn't seem strange to assume that I would be able to overpower Vinme with some cavalry attacks. Another outpost is built right here, and Vinme also attempted to build an outpost right here. And Vinme has an outpost here. And I attack this outpost, and that should give Vinme a warning sign, just as this infantry going down should provide more surrounding. So Vinme decides to go to phase 2 with 2 barracks, 3 stables and 1 barracks. And I decided to capture this outpost, but I decided let's not do that so. And Vinme tries to defend with some archers, and I just sent enough cavalry units to chase away the archers. And for some reason I'm running for this because I think, oh well, he's trying to lure me to the CC, and to be annoying with the extra range that the archers have. And I captured this outpost, and well, it will be nice for me to have the extra vision on everything what is going on right here, and I will have the advantage of seeing possible attacks that are coming my way. So at this point I spot, hey, there are cavalry archers, unstable, and the combination of phase 1 or phase 2, and for me it's clear that Vinme now wants to try to use cavalry archers, and that's the reason why I am casting this video on YouTube, because in my opinion, or in my experience, making cavalry archers isn't a good choice in 1v1s, as long as your opponent understands what is happening and makes cavalry units, because in direct combat these units are a lot better than the archer, cavalry archer. And Vinme realizes that he needs to run away. And there goes one of them down. He needs to build some infantry to save the cavalry archers, so that's also some effort he needs to take. And I want to kill some of these cavalry archers, because I can always run away from these spearmen and they don't bother me that much. But the combination of spearmen and cavalry archers is a good one. And he loses 2 spearmen right here, whereas I lose some cavalry units. And when we look to this fight, I think it's a fairly even fight, so the cavalry archers have done their purpose, and the spearmen. And one of the questions about cavalry archers is that they require more upgrades than regular soldiers. They have an upgrade which provides them 10 more range, and Vinme invested in that upgrade, and that's not a cheap upgrade. It's 400 food and 200 metal, and they also need an upgrade to get the extra accuracy for archers. And in my experience, it was always possible to chase down cavalry archers with just javelin cavalry, and you didn't need to do a lot to be able to achieve that. And when we look to the numbers, it is 70 infantry for both, around 70, and about 25 cavalry for both, so we seem to be equal on that. And these women are also taking a look at the fight before thinking better of it. And yeah. Well, I think that was a fight where most of his spearmen went down, but I had the problem that also a lot of my cavalry went down, and I need those cavalry to keep those cavalry archers away. And Vinme constantly has some spearmen, and I cannot engage a combination of spearmen and cavalry archers with my cavalry, so that's a problem for me. And I built a temple because I realized I need to heal my cavalry units. And Vinme harasses me again, and he runs away, but he has his spearmen right here, which means that I can't engage the cavalry archers. And he is able to escape with his cavalry archers, even though I am killing the infantry. All in all, there was some fighting going on here. Yeah, he just to fight and to cause the casualties which I did on the way back. I need to follow him, and I need to follow him all the way back to his base. And I decided to stop chasing him all the way back to his base. And you see that on the retreat, I am taking casualties. So, yeah, this is a situation which is, well, it's a situation which is, well, it's not a bad situation for the Persians, and without the spearmen, well, a player would just be able to, yeah, chase down the cavalry archers, and once there are enough cavalry archers, it becomes really difficult to deal with them. So I need to have my cavalry numbers high enough to be able to deal with the cavalry archers. And currently it looks like with a 3-to-1 ratio, which is quickly becoming a 4-to-1 ratio, and a 5-to-1 ratio. There are too many cavalry archers for me to deal with, and that mainly was because Vinme has some spearmen around here, because that stops me from chasing down his cavalry archers. And those spearmen also did a lot of damage against my chasing cavalry. So even, well, from a spectator point of view, you might think from, hey, those spearmen, they don't do a lot, they just stand there idle, and whenever I get too close to the spearmen, my cavalry units run away. So they might not seem efficient, but the big thing which Vinme shows is that if you combine them with cavalry archers, then they can be efficient, and they allow, and the spearmen allow the cavalry archers to be very efficient. And this will just be flogged with this number of cavalry archers. And this will probably be a decent fight for me if it wasn't that Vinme is targeting my cavalry units. And my cavalry units have to leave. In the meantime, Vinme attacks on another angle. And these cavalry archers, they get mostly killed. But I am losing my infantry force. So, this strategy by Vinme isn't something that you can easily counter, or it does not seem easily counterable by just infantry and some cavalry units. Maybe I could have tried to also use some spear cavalry against them, but spear cavalry would probably even more suffer against the infantry spearmen of Vinme. So, yeah, I do think if you play the game as Vinme did, and if you use the cavalry archers and the spearmen smartly, then you can really match Spartans as Persians. And before this game, I actually thought that such a thing wouldn't be possible. And I tried to use my temple to Get a win right here, and I think this is indeed a little win because I had population disadvantage of 30 units before the fight. Now that's 20 units. A problem for me will be the position of my barracks because my units are collecting wood right here and here, and these units need to walk, after being produced, need to walk to this position, and when they are walking to that position, or they are walking to this position, they are vulnerable. So, and yeah, Vinme is doing a good job, and the spearmen also proved to be useful. And then we look to the number of cavalry units. It's 68 on this screen alone. And well, that's too much to deal with. If you have only 20. And there are also some spearmen in position. And currently I'm making an engagement to a big fight. And I left the amount of range support, and I think my numbers are just in general lower than Vinme. We both are in the city phase right now, and the population difference has started to grow. And on the retreat I will also take more casualties. And now we can say safely that this game is currently over. So I do have some priests to heal some rounded infantrymen. There aren't any rounded infantrymen left or that suffered any harassment. This temple is full, and there is not a way I can combat this amount of cavalry units. Vinme has made all those cavalry units from 3 stables, so I guess he hasn't been losing many of them if he has these numbers. He also has made use of the Persian technology where cavalry units are trained faster. And I saw a chariot in this game, and I thought, oh, that means he already has unlocked chariot champions, but it's a hero. And the hero is, this hero is Darius the Great, and people often seem to prefer, Cyrus the Great, who provides 20% attack, but I'm in doubt if he's actually that much better than Darius the Great. They both have the how to say, they are both are called the Great. But now this hero is also very nice because he has gives his soldiers plus 15% movement speed, which helps your soldiers reach the storehouse quicker when they are gathering resources. Vinme also has only built 1 barracks during this game, and of the units which he produced there, he also sent some spearmen forward. He didn't make many women, so now we'll see that in the statistics afterwards. But yeah, he constantly used hit and run tactics, and he constantly retreated to some forward spearmen. And well, that seems to be a strategy which worked, and so I wanted to share that strategy with you. And back to Darius the Great, he gives makes units 15% faster. So that might seem like, oh, speed, just funny and nice, but that's about it. But if you're really using hit and run tactics to attack the enemy, there is actually a lot of running involved. So if you run away from, say, an cavalry javelin, which moved at because it turns to Gaia, it ignores the 10% speed increase technology. Let's say it moves about 18 meters per second. If you just don't have the speed, the javelin cavalry units will be faster than you, and it will chase. It will be a lot faster to chase you. And if you are faster than the cavalry javelin, your cavalry archers can hit and run on them. And even if you just using hit and run tactics on, say, skirmishes, if the skirmisher chases you with a speed of 11.4 and you're running away with a speed of 19.4, you win 6 meters per second seconds. And without a 15% speed bonus, your speed would be just, I guess it's something like 16.8, and you would win only, well, currently he wins 8 meters per second, and without the speed bonus, that would be reduced to, as he said, just 6 meters, I guess, or something like that. And you will see that even in those situations, plus 15% speed means that you can a lot faster escape and start hitting again. So the extra speed can be really useful. So yeah, that's it for this game. I hope you've it shed some light on how you can use the Persians to great effect. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, so I realized that I just did the outro and already stopped the video, and I haven't tapped to the statistics for anyone who is interested about the game, so I will do it right now afterwards and edit the video, which will take me a little bit more time than I was planning to do. And so these are just the scores. The scores I don't really consider to be that interesting. When it comes to structures, well, it isn't really that interesting for me either in most of the cases, because, well, if you have smaller houses, you will build a lot more structures, and also the housing technology can and economic buildings, they can give a wrong impression of things. Outpost might be an important statistic, might be a fun statistic, but I will just leave it as it is and go to the unit statistics. Vinme created more units, and he also had a good kill-death ratio. But I actually thought the kill-death ratio would be higher in favor of Vinme, kill-death ratios and unit strength is also always a tricky statistic to look at, because at the end of the game, those two statistics tend to skew between the winning and losing player. It's probably not like Vinme has been training 15% more units through the entirety of the game. It's probably that I just fell apart in the end of the game, and Vinme has in that final phase just been able to produce 50% more units than me. And I think also kill-death ratio, it's sometimes just a sign of how long someone tries to continue. And what might be interesting is to see all the infantry that I produced were killed. So, and almost all cavalry that I produced were killed. So the units which were remaining were mostly women in the end. And we see that Vinme has ramped up his cavalry production. Resources, just like units produced, is always skewed in the end of the game, because in the final stages the winning player collects more resources than the losing player, while for the early phases it might be fairly even. Well, we both used the market a little, and miscellaneous. Now, kill-death ratio is just as units killed, always a little bit skewed to the end. And if you look to the kill-death ratio in the early game, it isn't really. It's also not really that telling, because if these are just this is a 4-3 kill, and we saw in the game that Vinme was ahead in population despite losing 4 units and only killing 3. And we also see that right here. We see that at this point it seemed fairly even, and we can say actually that from here on to this point it was fairly even, and Vinme then took the lead in population, and probably somewhere right here, which is also when the somewhere, yeah, about 20 minutes is where Vinme really takes the advantage, and that's also when his KD is climbing. And it's also a bit little unfair to look at this statistics because you think, hey, this is a very good statistic, but it probably means just something like I killed maybe 15 units while I lost 3, and at minute 9 Vinme was still ahead in population, so not really that interesting. And when you look at the KD, you could also probably look at units killed, and you see I didn't really kill a lot of units right here. Well, I think they are decent. It's a decent amount in retrospect. I finally want to look at the population from this point to this point, when it seems fairly even, and look if it's just whether the populations are even with the amount of resources collected or not, because if Vinme had a lot of upgrades in this period, now those should also be considered. And upgrades generally can be seen in in this in the amount of resources that you gather, because if someone doesn't have a lot of units but a lot of resources gathered, you can assume he made a lot of technologies and he had an advantage there. Vinme had the advantage in resources collected by the time when our populations were about even. So part of these resources were wasted because of a bad KD, and probably another part of these resources were used for technologies. And there is also a statistic of technologies, if I am right. I need to take a quick look where technologies are listed, and I can't find the technologies so quickly, so I think I will just end the video right here. And one of the disadvantages I consider of these graphs is that it's very difficult to say, hey, to give an to pinpoint from, hey, but at which time point was this dip? So it was somewhere between 18 minutes and 33 seconds and 28 minutes, and probably 25. So I would like if there were some vertical lines here, so you can more easily make estimates, and maybe also some vertical lines in between, maybe a little bit more numbers in between, because I think right here in between there would be space for another number and a vertical line. So, well, that's just my take on these graphs, and that will be it for now, and I hope to see you in the next video.